So yes, the smartest invention in financial history is not the credit card, not the mortgage, not the stock market, debt. Think about this. Someone somewhere sat down hundreds of years ago and realized something simple. People want things, people don't want to wait, and some need things urgently just to survive. What if we let them have it now and pay later and charge them a fee for the convenience? And just like that, the perfect machine was built. But the problem is, of course, it's a trap, and it's designed to make sure you never stop paying. It's habit forming. But if you want to escape the trap, don't despair. You see, most people think escaping this machine requires a massive income, or even that escaping it's impossible. But that's not true. In fact, there is one specific boring realization I had leading to my ability to retire much earlier than I ever thought I could. And once I understood it, the bank's power over me completely vanished. Now, I'll reveal exactly what that was a bit later in the video and how it changed how I look at every single purchase I make. But first, I want to talk about what debt actually does. There's the obvious. It drains us constantly from every direction. Most of us don't even feel it anymore because it's just normal or we're used to it. And it's not just debt in this day and age that does the draining. Your income, your wages are heavily taxed. Then you're taxed on everything you buy with what's left. You pay interest on your car, interest on your sofa, interest on your holidays, interest on the money you borrow to pay off other debt or other interest. It's like piranhas, not one big bite, thousands of tiny ones over the years. And you're so busy swimming, you don't even notice a lot of the time how much you're losing. And even that's not just it, because there's other ways that our hard-earned wages get siphoned from us. Food gets smaller, prices stay the same or even go up. Fuel prices spike because of some crisis somewhere, and when the crisis ends, they just find a new, higher normal. And as far as I can see, the people we vote in to look after our interests are the biggest part of the problem. But here's the thing, when it comes to debt, nobody's forcing you. You're agreeing to it. 100 years ago, if you wanted something, you saved until you had the money, or you did without. There was no third option. Now, the default question isn't, can I afford this? It's, what's a monthly payment? And just think about how weird that is, yet we have just learnt to accept it. We've built an entire society around the idea that waiting is unacceptable, and that paying extra for the privilege of not waiting is just what you do. And here's the madness. We'll hardly notice it. Someone says, I'm paying my car off. Nobody blinks. Somebody says, I've got 3 credit cards in the go. That's just normal. A young couple wants a new kitchen that's way more than they can afford, so they borrow the money. We call that ambition. We don't call it what it is. And debt has become so normal that not having it is almost strange. And we know the banks are making lots of money from us, and yet we still sign up. Why? And it's just because waiting feels like, I don't know, losing out. Saving feels slow. Going without feels like some sort of defeat. So we take the easy path, or what seems to be the easy path, but it certainly is not. But it is the path that most people take. And that's because that's exactly how the system is engineered to work. And I know there'll be people listening to this thinking, well, if we can afford it, so what? But that is the conditioning, and it's mad. So when it should be, save to get that new kitchen. Get it because you're paying cash at a better price with no interest, and you'll appreciate it all the more. And you know, that's how I was. I had all of it. Mortgage, car finance, credit cards, home improvement loans, furniture finance, the whole lot. And here's what's hard to admit. A lot of the time, I knew what I was doing. I knew I was being a bit reckless. But I went ahead anyway. Worry about it next month. When everyone around you is doing the same, it's so easy to tell yourself, sure, it'll be fine. Even when you know it won't be. Even when you know you'll probably end up worrying and stressed. And you know what? When I was in debt, I thought about money constantly. Every purchase, every bill, every time I checked my bank balance. It was this low-level hum of anxiety that never really turned off. And now that I'm out of it, and I've been out of it for 6 years, I barely think about money at all. That's the truth. And certainly not because I'm rich, because I'm not. I live on a fairly tight budget. But because when you're not sending half your income to other people every month, money stops being a constant crisis. It becomes boring in a way, uninteresting in a way. And for me now, I don't have to count my money all the time. And the amount that I do have just sits there until I need it. And here's the irony that I didn't see coming. The system wants you to think about money all the time. The banks, the advertisers, the government, all of them. They want you to be thinking about payments, interest, credit scores, deals, transfers. It wants your attention on it because that's what keeps you in the game. And you know, the best thing that ever happened to my headspace wasn't having more money. It was thinking about money less. And that's the part nobody had told me about. And here's the thing, we're quite often told or taught to accept that debt's just a tool, that credit cards and car loans are just an ordinary part of modern life. I disagree. But up until 6 years ago, that's what I would have said. But now, for me, other than a total life-altering emergency, debt won't happen. Debt's a chain, period. We have been conditioned to think these payments are normal. It happened because someone figured out a long time ago that a population in debt is a population that works, spends, and never stops to ask why. Where it leaves you while you're in debt, you can't walk away from a job that you hate when you owe money. You can't make massive changes to your life when you owe money. You can't take a year off to travel when you're making payments. You can't retire early when half your income goes in interest. You can't be free with debt. Simple as that. And that's not a moral judgment. That's just math. So, how do you actually step away from this machine? And I'm not here to tell you what to do with your money. I'm not a guru or a coach or an expert. I'm just someone who had all of it, got out of it, and realised how much lighter life is on the other side. And I'm not saying it's easy, but the vast majority of us all have the means to get away from it one way or another. For me, I sold my apartment and completely cleared all of my debt with the equity. Others who don't have that maybe have to make a 2 or 3 year plan to pay off all their debt. Some might take a second job and sacrifice some of their freedom for a certain amount of time to get rid of it. Some may even come into some sort of windfall and force themselves to clear their debts and resist the temptation to splurge. And there's so many things you can do. I talk about it in my other videos, you know. Cut out all the unnecessary expensive stuff. Cancel all the subscriptions. And the reason why people do it is because they realise what I've already said, you can't be free without debt. And here's the thing I wasn't expecting. And this is that boring realisation I promised to share with you at the beginning. Once I stopped owing, I stopped wanting. The constant pressure to acquire, to upgrade, to keep up, the vast majority of that just disappeared because a lot of it wasn't really coming from me. It was coming from the machine, from society, from advertising. And once I got away from the machine, I could see it for what it really was. I still buy things, I still enjoy nice things, but I buy them when I have the money, not before. And that small shift changed everything. So here's where I land. I know there are a lot of people who just will not be able to find a way to do this for different reasons. But a terrible lot of you will. Even some of you who don't realise you can, because I thought I couldn't. So debt isn't like a moral failure. It's a system, a very clever system. But just because it's clever doesn't mean you have to play. You can step back. You can question the monthly payment. And I should jump back there. I said not everyone can do this, but I absolutely believe everyone can improve their standard of living. And the best way to do that, if you haven't got a lot of money, is to cut back. You can question your monthly payments. You can decide that waiting is actually fine, that owning something outright feels better than having it now. I had a beautiful home, a BMW, great holidays, but I realised at one point none of it was mine. I didn't know it, because like you take a car finance for as an example, or a lease. As soon as you're finished it, you take another one. So it's a chain around your neck. So that freedom that you can release for yourself is worth more than the new sofa or the new car. I'm not saying cut up your credit cards tomorrow, although that's exactly what I did, and if you can, you should. I'm not saying sell the house, although again, that's what I did. I'm just saying this. Start saying it. Start noticing how normal it all feels. Start asking yourself, who actually benefits when you say yes to that monthly plan? Because once you see it, you can't unsee it. I guarantee you. And once you can't unsee it, you start making better choices. In this day and age, it's almost impossible to completely extract yourself from the system. But it's amazing how much you can. If that makes sense, I hope that made sense. And the more you remove yourself, the less you can be drained. Over time, those choices, they add up. Less stress, more options, more peace. To owning your own life instead of renting it from a bank. And that's not just an opinion. That's a truth. I believe that's a truth that I learned. Okay, so I'm going to leave it off there. If you enjoyed the video, if you got something out of it, as usual, please give it a thumbs up. I can't tell you how much it helps the channel. I've still only got, on this new era of the channel, I've only got 14 or 15 videos, so it's hard to get YouTube to push it out to people. So please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, get involved in the comments. If you've got any other thoughts, add them, respond to other people and what they have said. But until next time, bye.